Thanks to the explosive force of cannon fire, the French were close to victory in this century-long war. But in a final grasp at power, the English dispatched a fresh army, equipped with their tried and tested longbows. Formigny would be a trial of old versus new, to determine the fate of France. English commander Sir Thomas Kyriel sent a large expedition to crush the French in Normandy. The village of Carentan was directly in their path. Massively outnumbered, the French skirmishers near Carentan would give their lives to weaken the English. Though they fought bravely, the French skirmishers could only slow the English advance. The main body of the French army finally arrived in the river valley. The French now needed to locate and destroy the English army. But they would face a well-entrenched enemy with several local garrisons. The French destroyed the garrison at Bicbec.
En avant, reste tous en mesnée. La stress dite est bien claire. Tiens-vous, Samuel. Les coustiniers sont prêts. Tiens-vous, Samuel. Soyez prêts. Carrette, vos destins, ainsi soit fait. En absence, coustiniers. Je suis archer. Soyez, nos gardes,
French forces found a detachment of the English army attacking the town of Valognes. If they could stop the attack, they might gain valuable resources. With the English attack on Valognes halted, the citizens moved to support the French army.
Les arbalèstes sont à espèces. Soyez coués. Nouveau commandement. Soyez au carreau Agostinier. Nous allons. À l'arçon, je fais votre commandement. Si sera fait selon votre commandement. Dieu-vous à moi. Voyez, les Coustiliers, soyez coués. Au Coustiliers, en ordonnance. Nous allons. Je fais votre commandement. Chaque temps, si sera fait selon votre commandement. Coustiliers, nous allons. Voyons. Alors, arbalétrier, avant. Les Coustiliers, on se reste dit, et bien, c'est bon. Voyez, à l'arçon, ainsi soit fait. Soudard.
Un peu d'avisement, Soudard. Avouez. Dépêchez-moi alors.
Soyez coués. Nouveau commandement. Nos arbalèstes sont déspiqués. Arbalétrier, triez bas. Soyez prestes pour les commandements. Nos arbalèstes. À l'arçon. Coustiliers, nous allons. Voyons les coquilles. Arbalétrier, suivez le si sera fait selon votre commandement. Ainsi soit fait. En arçon, Coustilier. Dieu-vous à moi. J'attends les commandements. Nous actons. Soudard. Carrel, écoute, je fais votre commandement. Coustilier, en ordonnance. Nous allons. Voyez, Carrel, notez, je fais votre commandement. Piquez des deux. Coustilier, soyez prêts. Ça qui sera fait selon votre commandement. Coustilier, nous allons. En arçon, Coustilier. Soudain. En arçon, Coustilier. Je suis un chien. Soudain. Arbalète, tout attendons les capitaines. En arçon, Coustilier. Si sera fait selon votre commandement. Avec si sera fait selon votre d'esprit, Coustilier, en ordonnance. Envoyez-moi. Envoyez tout à fait. Jacques Coustilier, nous allons. Soyez coués. Arbalétrier, ne restez plus. Coustiliers sont prêts.
Soyez prest, mes frères.
Soyez prêts, je... Arbalétrier, j'ai bon. À l'arçon.
Prest sont vos mois.
Voyons les commandements qui nous adviennent.
Soyez prêts.
Les Coustiliers sont prêts. Nous attendons les commandements. Ainsi soit fait. Coustiliers, en ordonnance. Nous allons. Votre estique est bien fait. Coustiliers, l'ennemi nous prend en garde. Piquez des deux.
English base at Saint-Sauveur fell to the French forces, but the enemy army was still at large.
Soyez prestes, mes frères.
Soyez prêts. Nos carrels sont prêts, mon frère.
Prestes sont vos moines.
Les coustiliers sont prêts. Jouez Giride à Barmain. Ocelon et Ridon. Une joyeuse coursée. Soyez l'arçon,
Prest, avanzons, fratrimei.
J'attends les commandements.
Que sont les commandements? Je fais votre commandement. J'attends les commandements. J'ai compris.
Nous attendons les...
Soyez prestes, avanzons, fratrimei.
Où donc m'envoyez-vous? J'y ai que...
Arbalétrier avant. Ainsi sur les guerres éteignées. Vous appliquez
Soyez prestes.
à l'arçon. En arçon, coustilier. Piquez les deux. Si sera fait selon votre commandement. Coustilier, nous allons. Les coustiliers. J'ai mis nos arçons de longue trêve. Nos destriers, nos destriers, nous allons. Votre prestige est bien fait. Nous appliquez les deux. Nous allons. En arçon, coustilier. Que sont les Girides incontinents? Ainsi soit fait. Soyez croués. J'arrive, je t'appelle. Nous attendons les comme qui sera fait selon votre...
Soyez prêts.
Voyons, j'ai bon. Coustille, je fais votre commandement. J'obéis à votre
The French forces located Kyriel's English army at a river crossing near the town of Formigny.
Coustilier en ordonnant. Nous allons. Soyez prêts. J'ai bon, tout actif. Nous attendons. Voyons les soldats. Je fais votre commandement. Je fais votre commandement. En arçon, coustilier. Prêt, soudain. Ainsi soit fait. Dévorez vos armes. Avant. Dévorez vos armes. Juste à l'ennemi. Soudain. Votre prestige est bien fait. Prêt, acier. À l'arçon, je fais votre commandement. Si sera fait selon votre commandement. Soyez prêts. Nous attendons les commandements.
Soyez prestes. Si ferai-je comme aimant.
Nos destriers rongent leurs freins. Coustilier, nous allons. Piquez les deux. Coustiliers sont prêts, ainsi soit fait. En arceau, Coustilier. En arceau, presse pour les commandes. Voyons les...
Arbalétriers, soyez à terre.
Reste tous. Les Coustiliers sont prêts. Ainsi soit fait. Il nous
Several of the Bureau brothers' heavy guns and other forces arrived to help.
Advise pour votre engin, advise pour dicte-nous, advise pour votre engin.
Even with their cannons, the French faced the difficult task of engaging the well-positioned English army.
Engin de siège, actif!
The French attacks succeeded in drawing the English front line out of position and across the river. Suffering losses, the English front line retreated back across the river. The French received word that their Breton allies had arrived with their knights and horsemen. Now the two armies could coordinate. The Bretons saw an opportunity to attack the English from the back. As the Bretons attacked, the English had no choice but to pivot their front line, opening their flanks to attack from the French. Beset by the French and Bretons, the English beat a hasty retreat toward Formigny. The English survivors entered Formigny. The French would have to take this town to secure victory.
Engin de siège, assis. L'ennemi nous instille. Engin de siège,
With the last English army destroyed and the gates of Formigny thrown open, the French force in Normandy was victorious. Their well-organized forces and superior firepower had brought the arduous 100 Years' War closer to its conclusion. At Formigny, the roar of cannon fire sounded the death knell for England's ambitions in France. King Charles and the Bureau brothers did not let up on the offensive, and in 1453, the English retreated across the Channel. France was finally at peace. More than 100 years had passed since the first English chevauchés had scorched the land. The iconic French knights who fought in those early days would not have recognized their own military a century later. The English longbow, once the scourge of France, was no match for French artillery in the last years of the war. And by 1453, France's border looked very different, growing to encompass territories once claimed by England and their allies. After enduring a century of conflict, France emerged as a transformed nation. The country and its people had persevered and unified into a kingdom that could defend itself. Against all odds, France had won the 100 Years' War. Before the invention of printing in the 15th century, books were painstakingly copied by hand. The finest were illuminated with brilliant colors and real gold. Illuminated text wasn't just for show. Gilded illustrations decorated important passages to highlight their significance.
Gold was used in many medieval manuscripts from early days because it was very expensive, and it indicated that the manuscript itself was valuable. The light would reflect from candles or from the sunlight, and so it looked as though the book itself was illuminated. In medieval manuscripts, it looks as though this is solid gold. In fact, it's not. The gold itself is tissue thin.
The solid appearance is achieved by laying the gold on a cushion of plaster mixed with glue, called gesso.
By raising the gold from the surface of the skin, that means that it catches the light even more.
The glue in the gesso is softened by breathing on it.
We then have 3 seconds to get the gold on, and I'm using a burnisher, which is a polished stone, just to make sure that the gold sticks. Then the burnisher is used to polish the gold up. See, it's coming up now. See, it's coming nice and shiny.
Next, the miniature is painted.
The base colour will be done first, then the tints and the shades will be added, and finally, the white highlights and the outline, which lifts it and brings the whole thing to life.
The medieval paint box contained pigments from across the world, such as ultramarine from Afghanistan and orpiment gathered from volcanic craters.
It often took a long time to complete these medieval miniatures. This one between a month and 6 weeks, from start to finish.
An entire book could take a team of illuminators several years to complete. Many medieval manuscripts still survive today, fully preserved, with their colors just as vivid as the day they were illustrated.